In the vast, unforgiving plains of the Zambezi Valley, where the air ripples with heat and silence is broken only by the distant roars of apex predators, there lived a man named Elias Ndlovu, a wildlife ranger known for his solitary habits, fierce courage, and a deep, almost spiritual bond with the wilderness. He had seen everything the bush could offer poachers with cold eyes and warm triggers, tourists who believed the savannah was a theme park, droughts that turned rivers into dust trails, but nothing could have prepared him for the chilling cry that echoed through the canyon one fateful dusk, a sound that didn't belong to a man or beast, but something in between, a desperate, guttural howl that stopped him mid-stride. He dropped his satchel, checked his old bolt-action rifle, and sprinted toward the sound, feet pounding against cracked earth and heart thundering like a tribal drum. And what he found would burn itself into his memory, forever a majestic albino lion, a beast so rare it was thought to be extinct in the wild, its coat as white as mountain snow, and eyes the color of burnished amber, pinned beneath a massive slab of collapsed granite, ribs heaving, tail twitching weakly, its enormous paws scraping futilely at the ground as blood pooled beneath its torso. Elias knew instantly that this was no ordinary animal. This was a legend, a spirit of the bush come alive, and it was dying, but standing mere meters away, a pride of lionesses 5, no, 6 gathered silently, their golden bodies tense, muscles quivering, eyes locked not on the lion but on him. Strangers stepping between death and destiny, and Elias felt the weight of decision tighten around his chest like a noose, to retreat and survive, or intervene and possibly die, torn apart by lionesses. Protecting their kin or hunting out of instinct, no one could say, but he stepped forward anyway, arms open, whispering soft, rhythmic words in Shona, the language of his ancestors, a melody of calm, of kinship, of reverence, and miraculously, the lionesses didn't charge. They stood still, watching, waiting, as Elias knelt beside the albino lion and gently placed a hand on its trembling flank, feeling the faint, fading heartbeat that told him he had minutes, not hours. He needed help, tools, a team, but he had none of that, only himself, a weathered crowbar, and the indomitable will of a man who had once poached creatures like this and now would rather die than let another fall to fate. So he dug, heaved, groaned, and bled as he fought against the immovable stone, inch by inch lifting it with makeshift levers, using roots and rocks for leverage, whispering encouragement not just to the lion, but to himself, ignoring the hot breath of the lionesses behind him, ignoring the searing pain in his back and hands as the crowbar snapped and the rock crushed his foot, trapping him too. But he didn't stop, didn't blink, didn't cry out until finally, with one last primal yell, he shifted the boulder just enough for the lion to pull itself out, dragging its massive broken body into the moonlight, before collapsing at his feet, and Elias, pinned and exhausted, reached down and cradled the lion's head in his lap, tears streaking his dust-covered face as he whispered stories of forgiveness and rebirth, of sins paid and peace earned, until the lion's breathing slowed, softened, and then, just as the soft breeze rose and stirred the grass, it stopped. Altogether, Elias felt the weight of that silence more than any stone. He had won the battle, but lost the war, and yet the lionesses did not pounce. They approached, one by one, circling him like ghosts, their eyes no longer full of suspicion, but something stranger respect, maybe grief, and one of them, the largest, nuzzled the dead lion's mane, then turned and looked straight into Elias's soul before letting out a long, low growl that vibrated through the ground like a funeral hymn, and in that moment, Elias knew he had become part of something sacred, something no camera or textbook could ever explain. By the time the rescue team arrived at dawn, drawn by his faint radio signal and two late cries for help, they found Elias unconscious, foot crushed, face tear-streaked, lying beside the lifeless albino lion in a circle of untouched earth, as if even nature had paused to mourn. And though they lifted him onto a stretcher, he wouldn't speak for days, not until they buried the lion under the baobab tree where the birds never sang. And even then, all he said was, He wasn't supposed to die. I saw it in his eyes. He had hoped that the heartbreak didn't end there, because days later, the lionesses returned, lingering at the ranger post, watching silently from the tree line, and when Elias, limping on a cane, stepped out to meet them, they turned and led him into the bush deep into the valley, to a place no man had been where, nestled among the rocks, lay 3 cubs, their fur pale, their eyes glowing, and Elias felt